need a light, so I can smoke away this pain. I need a light, so I can smoke away this pain. I need a light, so I can smoke.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Elevated Culture. I am your host Matthew Stafford, and with me as always, my good buddy Ryan Cook. Ryan, how you doing?
I'm doing amazing. How's everybody out there?
I think everyone's doing great, and I think everyone in this room is doing great because we have a very special guest with us tonight. We have a 16-year NBA veteran who played all around the country. He was a first-round draft pick in 1989, playing for a bunch of teams, most importantly, the Denver Nuggets. He has since moved on, talking about cannabis with a cause. He is the owner of Viola Extracts, Viola Brands. He has an amazing story, and he's here to share it with us. Everybody, please welcome Mr. Al Harrington.
Hefe, what's up, man? How you doing, brother?
Chilling, man. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule and swinging by to talk to us.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, and thank you for also coming into the shop. I know you just did, you were over at the Colorado store for a quick hour and got to meet
very nice store. You guys did a great job. It looked like no expenses were spared in there, and so good job, and I'm happy all the love that you guys have showed Viola, allowing us to put some in-store displays and stuff, so thank you guys.
Well, we appreciate it, so thank you. Thank you for that, and we appreciate you guys putting out good product, good branding, good message, just being a part of it, and that's something that this podcast is about. We call this podcast Elevated Culture. The clinic's been around for 10 years this year in November.
Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate that, a decade in. And, so we're, what we've seen as we've all been in this industry and grown with it from, black markets and things like that, and people having these stigmas of drug culture and cannabis being a gateway drug, those types of things. We like to talk kind of about just things that are going on and things that have elevated the culture to where we are today. And I think what you're doing and what Viola Extracts is doing, what Replay CBD is doing, you're doing a lot of big things as well, obviously. And I think with Viola Extracts, that's kind of your main play right now, main game, and you kind of have a branding with that too, kind of like a lifestyle also brand.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, Viola is a lifestyle brand, and it took us some time to get to that point, but the one thing that we realized early was that we felt that the people that was going to be in the game, 10, 20 years from now, were going to be brands, and that's why we really focused on building a really great brand, like you said, with packaging and stuff. But the one thing that we stayed true and dear to is that, we had to make sure that every time someone picked up a Viola package of whether it's flower or extracts, that they had an experience. And they had a great experience. So we try to make sure that every time is always fire that's coming out of our product, you know what I'm saying? And we put quality over quantity, you know what I'm saying? We make sure that, what we put out, I always use the example amongst, our workers is like, if it's not good enough for my grandmother Viola to try, then we're not putting it out. You know what I'm saying? So that's the standards that I hold them to making sure that the product is top line and top flight.
And that's a high standard because your grandmother, this is what the company is named after. It's named after her, and there's kind of an interesting story of how the company got started through her. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it was right here on. I lived right here off of Colorado Blvd when I was playing here, in a little townhouse right there, and I was able to finally convince my grandmother to come see me play outside of the state of North Carolina. And, she hates flying, but I was able to convince her to get on the plane and come see me. And I to this day, I feel like it was God at work, just the fact that she was able to get on the plane or that she decided to say okay and get on the plane to come see me. So, when she got here, I hadn't seen her in a while besides just seeing her at the games in North Carolina and stuff. And, I didn't know all the things that she was dealing with. So, when she got to the house, she had about 3 bags, and I took 2 bags downstairs. She told me to leave one up. I put it up on the counter in my kitchen, and when she came back upstairs, she opened it and just started taking out all these pills. And I'm just like, Grandma, why are you taking so much medication? What's going on? Those vitamins? And she's like, nah. She's like, I have, diabetes, glaucoma, this, that, and the third. And, 2 days before that, and, obviously I'm playing here in Denver, and, this was 2010. And, cannabis is on the front news of the paper every day because, the medical program has just started kicking off. And, glaucoma was one of the things that cannabis was getting credit for healing. So when she said glaucoma, it just stuck out. I said, well, I was just reading in the paper the other day that, cannabis helps with glaucoma and this, that, and the third. So she's like, well, tell me more. So I was just like, X, Y, and Z of what I read. And then finally she asked me, she said, well, what is cannabis? And I said, it's marijuana, weed. And she was like, reefer? She said, boy, I'm not smoking no reefer. She's like, reefer ain't gonna do nothing but make me hungry. And I said, nah, Grandma, I said, I'll tell you, there's doctors out here saying that cannabis will help you with your glaucoma. So she said no, you know what I mean? I tell people all the time, like, if my grandmother's not going to heaven, we're all going to hell, for sure. Like, cause I mean, she's so straight and narrow, been the backbone of my family, the church, since I've been alive, you know what I'm saying? And, the next day I come home and she's sitting in my kitchen and she's suffering again. Like, I walk in and she's squinting and I'm like, what's wrong? She's like, my eyes hurt. I can barely see today. And I said, well, you taking all that medication and it's not working? And she's like, it's hit or miss. So I said, look, let's just try cannabis. It'll be our secret. Obviously, I've told the entire world now. Yeah. But, she said, I'll try it. You know what I'm saying? So I called my boy, bought Vietnam Kush back. I wonder if he went to a clinic to pick it up.
He might have, like I said.
Did you guys ever carry Vietnam Kush? The story is he went to the clinic and picked up Vietnam Kush. Yeah. Okay. Right? And we bought it back, we vaporized it, put it in a volcano bag for her. I wasn't a smoker at this time either. So she tries it, she's smoking. She hit it 3-4 times. So I'm like, all right, Grandma, that's enough. Now relax. I'm like, you looking like you smoke all the time. And I took her downstairs. I had a game that day, so I went and took my nap. Woke up an hour and a half later, and before I got in the shower, I said, let me go check on her, make sure she's not like climbing the walls or whatever, because she hit it 4 times pretty hard. I go downstairs, and the door's closed. I knock on the door, and when I open the door, her back is to the door, and she's looking down. And I said, Grandma, are you okay? And she turned around, and she was crying tears, and she said, I'm healed. She said, I haven't been able to read the words of my Bible in over 3.5 years. And she went downstairs, so it's like, she tried cannabis and she got her sight back for the first time. And the first thing she did was go downstairs and read her Bible. And it spoke volumes to me. And, I'm real soft. So like when I see family members cry, I cry too, so she made me start crying. So I went and hugged her and she's just like, I can't believe this. Like, she's like, my eyes feel great,
It's amazing.
And it changed the way I look, at cannabis. And I'll never forget, like I was riding to the game that night. It was like slow motion. I was just like playing that over. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe that everything that I was reading about cannabis was true at that point. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because the way I grew up in Orange, New Jersey, I was taught, I came up in the Dare era, with the Dare Cat and all that. And it was always taught that if you smoke weed, I was going to end up smoking crack. You know what I mean? And like I said before, like even my grandma, I remember her kicking my aunts and uncles out the house all the time when they came and it smelled like weed. So it had me shook to the point where I never wanted to touch it. Yeah. And then to see her, especially her, try it one and get that kind of relief, and to the point where like she was able to go downstairs, and that connection of like going to read the Bible was just amazing to me. And it inspired me to learn more. And, by 2011 was when I got my first building. We got our first building here and made my first investment in the cannabis space.
That's awesome. That's an amazing story. And like even the inspiration you're talking about with your grandmother and her, being able to read her Bible again after 3 years and that sense of sight, that's something that like not a lot of people get to experience. Like we all experience it, but we don't remember experiencing it. That was a long, long time ago. I don't remember what it was like when I first saw it as a baby. Mm-hmm. So to be able to have that, it sheds like a whole new light on it, literally, as to her being able to do that in the healing powers of cannabis. And I think we've seen that, with her story and then so many other ailments is because it's such a broad spectrum. Right. And, I guess what I find interesting is that you had, you weren't consuming while you were in the NBA, but you had this profound trust in it and belief in it. You had been reading about it, these sorts of things. Mm-hmm. You've been a spoken advocate talking about, trying to change some of those regulations in the NBA. Do you think coming up as, a dare kid, like you said, it's not like today when hipsters just wear the shirt, it's like you came up, people were wearing that, they're banding together. It was, a whole thing that was being pressed on. How do you think that's changed, like the views today? Kind of the way your grandmother saw it. Do you think like in the general public it's grown that way because of medical value, or do you think it's also because of other reasons?
Well, I just think that when you think about like her era and my era growing up, like, crack was like an epidemic. It was like so bad, you know what I'm saying? Especially in black communities, you know what I'm saying? Like it was literally like households of people on crack, you know what I'm saying? So when you think of that and you see the impact of those people going through what they're going through, going to jail, being killed, overdosing, the whole thing, you would think that you automatically want to stay away from any kind of a drug. You know what I'm saying? But then when you look at, obviously that slowed down, it changed. And then with cannabis, it seems like, because I wasn't always in cannabis culture, like now that cannabis culture has accepted me, it seemed like there's always been that underlying culture. You know what I'm saying? There's always been those people that always used, and there's always been these certain select communities and different things like that I always try to tap into just to continue to learn more. You know what I'm saying? Because for me, it's about staying true to the culture of cannabis. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know I was a late bloomer. It's coming into the love of this plant and knowing all the medicinal benefits of it. But at the end of the day, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I'm in neck deep. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the world's changing because that culture that I'm talking about, it's always been there. But a lot of people just wasn't ever able to say anything or come out of the closet about it. When I think about just like my network of friends, I have a couple billionaire friends and they all smoke weed. But they all run publicly traded companies, or they're doctors, or they have these different industries that they're in that it's probably not accepted for people to know that they use cannabis. So it's just like, to me, it's just like, I feel like that's the reason why we've been able to kind of segue into legalization somewhat smoothly. You know what I'm saying? We know we have our issues with the federal government, but I think from the state level, you see, we don't have too many issues. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and
all
that's
these
the people
states
talking.
And that's the people talking, because people are starting to realize that, like, wow, this is medicine. Or like, when I really think about it, my dad was smoking the entire time. Or when I really think about it, my grandmother was using cannabis the entire time. She was baking brownies, or she was doing this, she was doing that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the reason why, like, I feel like we have been able to make this somewhat of a smooth transition from the state side, and then now it's just up to us to get these old ass lawmakers out of power to the point and get people in that will do the job of the people. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing I don't understand about our country, is we say that, the citizens run, or, we run the country, and, if you do a poll right now, or we vote on it right now, the country will vote for legalization. But we have lawmakers saying that we can't do it. So I'm just confused, like, who works for who? I thought we voted you in to do a job.
Exactly. It's definitely a baby boomer type of way, and I think, in my opinion, not speaking for anyone else in this room or listening or anything, I think it's also a play with the federal government with money and corporations, and I think that's why it's so important. Like, brands like the clinic, brands like Viola, have been doing this and are part of that culture that you're talking about, because it is something that's rooted, and like the people want it and talk about. We just need to get the other people out. But I think they're trying to find a way right now to get the money in, because that's their mindset. But when you look at like, because I'm in it every day, because I'm raising money, and it's like you guys are too. And it's like the business people are the ones that are messing, like, they're ruining the industry. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay to say.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, they're, and because I just feel like their heart's not in the right place. And I just feel like it's something about cannabis that's just very, like, organic. You know what I'm saying? And, I look at some of these brands of, like, celebrities that, are just coming out of the woodworks with a brand. It's like, so what's your connection to cannabis? You know what I'm saying? And like, and then they make up this story is not even believable. You know what I'm saying? And then when you take a bit of a deeper dive, you'll see, articles or times when they spoke against cannabis. So like now all of a sudden this is the thing to do. Yeah. And it's all because it's a money grab. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I feel like, companies like, Viola and the clinic, why I feel like we're going to be okay in the end, is because I think that we stay true to the culture no matter what. You know what I mean? We've always been doing this for the right reasons. You know what I'm saying? That hasn't changed. You know what I'm saying? We're going to make a lot of money either way. You know what I'm saying? But what I look at is like, how do we impact people's lives with what we're doing? You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I put the company, I put my employees before I put myself. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe in them, because I know that when I do that and when they feel that, they'll do anything for me. They'll run through a wall. And that's price. I can't buy that. I can't pay them enough of a salary to do that. You know what I'm saying? And when we go back and just talk about the culture of cannabis, it's like my story is what makes me real. It was what makes our brand real. You know what I mean? Because it was a life-changing event that happened for me. I never spoke against it. I was taught one way. I was lied to for the first 28 years of my life about something, about a plant. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of these people are I just feel like aren't true to the culture. I just feel like, the people that are just in it to make a buck, I think that we're going to outlast them. I really do. 'Cause I think it's a divine intervention that will just eventually take place in the industry, that all the people that are doing this for the right reasons will, be there at the end of the day.
And I agree. And I think it's something that you just can't fully make generic. And that's why you need these different brands, and you need good quality product, and you need to have the options to be able to do that as opposed to just some generic. Yeah. Everyone gets the same thing. It's like, where's even the artistry in that?
Yeah,
too, right?
even like with people, like I've had people tell me, these well-funded organizations, we could put anything out and it'll sell. We'll make this for soccer moms and put 2% THC in this and sell it for a premium. They'll buy it. They buy wine. It's collecting dust on the shelves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's not it.
How are you guys planning on being able to reach those individuals? I mean, we talk a lot about the 80-20 rule and everything, and and just mentioned the soccer mom, sort of phenomenon. I mean, how does Viola reach those?
So, like I said, for us, it's more about lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to do it through a lifestyle thing. For us, what I love about my team is that we're all cannabis users. And I feel like almost everybody that I employ, like if they don't have an issue why they use cannabis, they have a family member right next to them. You know what I'm saying? So to me, that always keeps them locked in to what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? And then, for us, the way I feel like we bridge that gap is, the way that we have our customer service. You know what I'm saying? By us having, our pop-ups, we throw a lot of events. Internally, sometimes big events, different things like that. So, and then when I bring it back to, like I was saying before, is the fact that, every time we sell a product, we create an experience every single time. I feel like every time someone tries Viola product, they want to try it again because it was such a great experience. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Right?
Yeah.
I agree.
In fact, where the fuck is that rig?
And then, like I said, I just feel like, my grandmother's story really is like a door opener every time, man, because it's just real. And like I said, I think everybody kind of has a family member or a story that they can just relate to my grandmother, and like I said, that kind of opens the door. And then the next thing is to try the product. And then we create that experience. So we are continuing to grab, credibility within the industry of being a real solid product.
I like what you just said there when you said it's even if they're not using it for something, they know someone who does. It's, that 1 degree of separation, because it's so true. And I think even that culture you're talking about now, you hear people being able to learn more about their family, their friends, and how they're able to cope and function with things, without having to take a lot of pharmaceuticals, like your grandmother was on. And then, I mean, I think also you had some knee issues too, and you kind of got into CBD years ago because of that, right? Like through the creams and
when I was playing here, it's funny because when I signed here, I was going to sign between here and Dallas, right? And Dallas, the only reason why I didn't go to Dallas was because Dallas offered me just a 3-year contract, and Denver offered me a 5-year contract, and I felt like both teams was just as good. Let's just say, right?
Yeah.
Dallas wins.
Come on, Denver.
Dallas, no, but listen up. That year, Dallas wins the championship, though. If I would have went there, I would have won the championship. Like, or maybe not. I don't know. But, so I missed out on an opportunity for that. But they brought me here, introduced me to cannabis. Not directly, indirectly through the newspaper. Just me looking and just being, like, intrigued by what was going on. And, this was pretty much the last place where I played good basketball. You know what I mean? Because, like you said, I had this surgery after my second year. It was somewhat of a botched knee. It was a botched knee surgery, but what happened was outside of it was that I was somewhat misdiagnosed after the fact that, the staph infection stayed in my body or stayed in my knee for another, 4 months to 6 weeks. And it ate away all my articulating cartilage where I wasn't able to really play the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? So when I was going through that, I was getting all these surgeries. I remember when I first was found out I had the staph infection, I had 4 surgeries in 1 week or whatever, every other day, and trying to get it out. And once we got it out or whatever, we thought we had it out, the doctor here, the team doctor, told me that I could go home to Vegas. So I go home to Vegas. First 2 weeks I'm not doing anything. I have a PICC line in my arm, whatever. So I'm giving myself the medicine or whatever. So I'm thinking everything's fine. So 2 weeks later, I go and I start doing therapy. Doing the therapy, and every time, my knee kept swelling. So now we're talking about 3-4 weeks down the line. So then the guy that does my therapy, he said, you know what, Al? I think that you should go get an MRI or whatever. We should check this out again, whatever. So I come to Vail to get it checked out. So I'm like, I'm not going back to that team doctor, obviously. And I go to Vail, and Dr. Stedman looks at my knee, and he's like, I think you still got the infection in there or whatever. So we clean it out. And when I got that clean out, my cousin, who at this time now, I already got him out here kind of looking around for opportunities for us to get into the space. And he comes up and he brings this lady named Chloe Villano with him or whatever. And she ran this company called Cloverleaf University. And, she comes up with him, and I had met her one time before. And, if anybody knows her or any of our listeners, she's very high energy.
Yeah.
So I'm in there, I'm drugged up, obviously. And she's all over the place, right? And then but I'm just sitting there, I'm like drugged up. Like, and she's like, hey man, this sucks. You shouldn't look like that. She's like, you should get off those meds and try this. And she opened up a bag, and she had, creams, tinctures, and capsules of CBD. And that was the first time that I really got introduced to CBD. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know all about the THC side, I didn't really know too much about CBD. And she gave me a crash course right there. She's like, just try this. Don't take that next pill. Try this. And I promise you guys, man, I tried it, and I've had 3 more surgeries since then, and I have not taken a pharmaceutical opioid, period.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How are you taking it?
I take it through, I use the creams, but I was using heavy tinctures.
Nice.
Heavy. You know what I'm saying? I was using a lot of tinctures and the capsules, and I was smoking. You know what I'm saying? I was smoking too. So I was able to manage my pain, and I still manage my pain to this day. You know what I'm saying? I was, Dr. Stedman and them told me that I was going to need a knee replacement probably when I was done. I'd be in so much pain just walking around. And I promise you, I think because of the medicine that I use on a daily basis, I feel great, and I've been able to play in the big 3, dominate that. And I've been able to dominate that because of cannabis use. If I didn't have cannabis in my body, I don't think I'd be able to do that.
Are you talking to some of the guys about that too?
I don't really have to. 90% of NBA players they want to know. They just want to know what I recommend.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They like, what's the new shit out? What I need to be smoking? You know what I'm saying?
The one person that I thought smoked the most didn't smoke at all either. Remember
Allen Iverson. He's like, you must smoke Allen Iverson all the time. I said, hey, I don't smoke. I don't smoke at all. You know what I mean? But I don't have to convince guys. I'm actually I'm going to a program potentially with the NBA to talk to the players about cannabis use, CBD, and like just the entrepreneur part of the industry, just giving them some exposure to it. Because, my whole thing when I tell the NBA is like, we shouldn't block these guys this opportunity of like a booming industry. It's like getting into the liquor industry. And, obviously they have a lot of disposable income that they can be a part of something that's amazing like this. And we know like, 50 billion is small numbers compared to what it's really going to be. You know what I'm saying? And if you could, invest in being part of the right, companies and stuff like that, you could create generational wealth in this space. You know what I'm saying? That's the opportunity that we have in front of us. So,
I'm seeing a seminar in your future.
I know, man.
I think.
I'm trying to
Hey, you mind shooting these guys knowledge on HB Cann U as well?
Huh?
HB Cann U. That's probably one of the biggest reasons why I like being a part of Viola now is because what you're doing with HB.
Yeah, so my biggest thing is, like I said, changing the stigma of cannabis by any means necessary at the end of the day. And I'm willing to do anything. And as I sat and thought about it, I'm like, well, what are the best ways that we can impact, especially communities of color? You know what I'm saying? Like the ones that was, obviously the most impacted by the war on drugs, and especially with cannabis arrests. still to this day, 85% of drug arrests in the black community is cannabis related. Like, are you serious? You know what I'm saying? Like, we all know that every college campus in the country has all kind of cannabis on there. There's no drug arrests, but you go into the hood and you're taking these kids and, you know what I'm saying, locking them up left and right for nickel bags and stuff like that. Like, they're being targeted, period. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like the way that I felt the way that I can impact the community the best was through education. Like, educating these kids, letting them know, like, you don't have to sell on the corner no more. Like, you can go get a great job. I give them examples of, like, before, we had like customers like Elias, that was, set up. But, I remember like 4 or 5 of my employees riding their bike to work. You know what I'm saying? And I remember 6 to 7, 8 months later, they was driving. And then I remember a year after that, they was living by themselves, not at home anymore. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, that's the opportunity that this industry offers to, everyone. You know what I'm saying? And my whole thing is like, these kids need to know that opportunity is out there, because like, when you think about it, is that when I told you that stat, that those numbers are still real. So the war on drugs is still in the community, even though it's legal right around them. 5 blocks down the street, there's a dispensary, but they're still getting busted. You know what I'm saying? So what I felt like, what I did with this scholarship fund, it's called the Viola Harvest Scholarship Fund. I took 5 girls and 5 boys at FAMU down in Florida. And, I issued this scholarship where, these kids come from neighborhoods that, are affected from the war on drugs, to teach them about cultivation, manufacturing, just the entrepreneurship of cannabis in general. And where I think the impact will be is that I think that now when these kids go home this summer, they're going to tell their friends. And they're not going to tell one person, they're going to tell 10, and they might tell 20. And you don't know which kids out of that they're going to affect and change their life and change the course of their life, where they could realize, like, damn, okay, I don't have to sell in the corner no more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Let me try to figure out how to do this the right way. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like that's the biggest impact that we can have through this scholarship, is teaching them and letting them go teach the the kids that they deal with on a day-to-day, and just tell them about the opportunity. And let's see what happens from there. That's
super cool, man, that you're doing that. How can individuals support it?
So you can go on our website, which is hbcannu.com, and then we have Instagram. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow me on Instagram. We're always raising awareness. We have a T-shirt challenge that we're about to start probably sometime in February, where pretty much 40% of all the proceeds from each T-shirt will go to the scholarship fund, because we've already started talking to other HBCUs around the country that are actually open to these programs, because like I said, I think that I know that this industry is going to afford like really great jobs, and I just want people that look like me to get an opportunity, you know what I'm saying, especially after all that they've been through, and the fact that no one's there educating them, even letting them know that this opportunity is out there, for them.
Yeah. No, I think that's awesome. It's legitimately cultivating change, and organically and through culture, which I think is amazing. So everyone should go check that out. Check out the websites. We'll throw them up when we throw the podcast too, so we can link to all of that. Okay. So
those are, I mean, really though, those are ridiculous opportunities for these guys to be able to learn that stuff. I mean, how are you kind of facilitating that? I mean, where are they getting to learn this sort of like with you guys, or I mean, is it on the ground training?
No. So they're actually learning at the school. So the school actually started a program. You know what I'm saying? So, they're more learning from the book level. They're not touching plants and different things like that. Not yet. There's like one school in Louisiana that is actually touching the plant. So that's the next one I want to do the next scholarship with. But, what I would like to do is allow them to come and intern, for us here in Colorado in the summer or whatever. So that's something we have to just make sure is okay, because these kids will be like 18, 19, 20 years old, and just make sure it's okay. But yeah, we would like to give them more on-the-job training, you know what I'm saying, to like see that everything they learned in these books, that is real.
That's I mean, that's got to be a great opportunity for any of these individuals,
Yeah, it'd be really cool.
It's cool that the country is getting to that point that, we can have conversations about this and get individuals into programs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is America, land of opportunity. So, let's, I just feel like, this industry is just so amazing, man. And, when I think about all the things that I've learned that this plant does, it's like the most amazing plant in the world, like hands down. There's no plant that does all the things that a cannabis plant does. And, you know, I'm so blessed that cannabis found me. You know, like I said, I don't think if my grandmother doesn't make that trip, I don't think I'm sitting here with you guys today. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, so it's amazing.
Where can people find Viola these days?
So you can find us. We're operating out of 3 states right now. We'll be 4 next month. We're operating out of obviously here in Colorado. You know, most of our market share is in Denver, Colorado Springs, and Boulder. You should be able to find our stuff pretty easy in those places. We are in Oregon. We have a beautiful farm up in Falls Cities. We call it the Viola Ridge. It's like on a cliff, really beautiful spot. I want to put like a cabin on there, put like a bed and breakfast on there.
Nice.
It's like that pretty, you know, just like the view. I see you can see California from there. And you know, we're also in California. We launched in California in August. In California, we only offer flower right now, flower and pre-rolls. Our extracts will be coming out. Our vapes will be coming out, you know, very soon as well. And then we have a facility in Michigan. And, you know, Michigan is another, you know, cool state. I feel like when I look at Michigan, it just reminds me so much of Colorado, you know, when I first started here. So I just look at the opportunity there and trying to learn from what I learned here so that I could, you know, be more effective out the gate there.
Yeah.
So, you know, there we have a 50,000 square foot building where it's vertically integrated, where we'll have cultivation, manufacturing, and a retail location out of that one place. And
Michigan's a tough one, huh?
yeah, it's very tough. I mean, it was tough for us early. You know, we went there 2 years ago and we did all our due diligence. You know, found a building, got OPCs, got temporary permits, licenses, the whole thing. And after handicap access ramps, we re-gentrified the building, the parking lot, the building next door to us. They made us fix. And one day, the day after Memorial Day last year, 2018, the police came with riot gear. And they kicked the doors down and they locked everybody up like, you know, we were criminals.
Was it because of a bird?
No, it was because the Border Patrol smelled weed on the river.
Wow.
While looking for a dead body. So
Okay.
while looking for a dead body, some guy jumped off a bridge because our facility's right on the water, and it's right on the bridge that takes you into Windsor, Canada. Like literally like 100 feet away. And some guy committed suicide and they were looking for the body and smelled weed. So obviously no one was hiding selling weed. I mean, not selling weed,
you had your
growing
licenses
weed,
and
with
everything.
licenses,
Yeah.
everything. But the police came in there, and I think this is something that is another huge issue when you think about that. They came in there and they pretty much tried to rob us. You know, they was hoping that it was going to be $1 million cash in there. They was going to keep them 800 of it, report 200, because, you know, we still can't even find the flower that they took. You know what I'm saying? Which doesn't make any sense to me. It was destroyed, but there's no record of it being destroyed. So, you know, they came in, they did all of that. You know, I was very confident in everything that I had done because we had 4 attorneys there that, you know, checks and balances of everything before we put a plant in that building. So we were very confident, and we went to court, we won the case. But through that process, I learned a lot. And what I learned was that if you are not Al Harrington and have resources to fight off a situation like that, you're screwed. And when that happened, you know, they froze bank accounts. You know, they, like I said, they robbed us. They took all the equipment. All of that's nowhere to be found. Like,
Which is also so crazy because with the rules and regulations, just the amount that we have to go through, that you have to go through,
Right.
that everyone has to go through, like when destroying something, recording your way, like all of that sort of stuff, it's crazy that they can just, none of it can
and that's
appear. There's no
what I'm
record
trying to bring
whatsoever.
awareness to is like accountability.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you allow us to grow in this state and you put in rules for people to operate, then you have to hold yourselves accountable to those rules.
Yeah.
You wrote the rules.
And they're operating within those rules.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, the state's of course paying you back for all of that, right?
Well, we don't know yet. You know what I'm saying?
I was
We hope
fucking
so.
around to the.
Yeah. We hope so. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it plays. But you got to remember, it's Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
They're not running around with buckets of cash either. You know what I'm saying? And our biggest thing is we don't want to start a fight in a new state that we're going to either. Like we hope to be able to just come to some type of understanding and just, settle it, and just move forward, you know. And it was funny, like when we won that case, like I walked out the courtroom and I said to the cops, I was like, y'all would have been better off knocking on the door asking for a job. They really would have, man.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I mean, when I found out what they make, because you know, I did my due diligence. Like they make minimum wage, so like they put them in an environment to be criminals. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what person put their life on the line every day, especially like a place in Detroit, for minimum wage?
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So you got to know they're hungry and they're looking for opportunities where they can take.
Yeah.
You know, they want to pull somebody over and they got cash and take it. You know what I'm saying? You put them in that spot. You know what I'm saying? So just, you know, my biggest thing is just it got to be more accountability just throughout the space. And, you know, when that happened to me, it opened my eyes that, like, there's a lot of people that put their last into this. They see this opportunity. They put everything they got into it. They use every single resource and relationship that they have to get just enough money to be able to get into this space. And it's so fucked up that a police officer or this, you know, the city can come in and do that to you. And after it's over, it's just my bad.
No,
You know
but
what I'm
you know,
saying?
but at the end of the day, thank God for Viola, because if this wouldn't have happened and you wouldn't have been in that situation to be able to fight it, you're right. Some people would have folded and rolled over.
You have no. They freeze your bank accounts. You can't think about it, when they freeze your bank account. You can't pay rent at the place anymore.
Sure.
You can't pay the electricity. Guess what else you can't pay? An attorney.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
most
Like
important.
that's how crazy it is when they do that to you, and it's just not right. You know what I'm saying? So I love to speak on this because I'm happy that happened to me, because now I understand. I've had people tell me this before in the past. I didn't understand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, all right, you just put your growth right back up tomorrow. No, that's not it. That's not it at all. You know what I'm saying?
do anything.
They take you completely out of the industry, and it's just not right. And especially when there's no accountability, because when they're wrong, it's just like, oh, my bad.
But we do need those warriors. I mean, Steve D'Angelo is another one, right? I mean, that has continued to fight and go through court battle after court battle, regardless of how much money it's costing him out of pocket.
Right.
Same as your story here, right?
Yeah.
But keeps pushing to be able to make sure that this industry is moving forward.
Correct, man. You got, got to be resilient. And I tell you all the time, like, you know, my approach to the industry is obviously, you know, to continue to scale and grow, but it's really about just surviving, man. It really is. Like, it's really every year after year is about surviving, you know, and I mean, because there's so many things that we go through, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, obviously the pioneers are the ones that get all the arrows in the back. And, you know, we're taking our arrows every day, you know what I'm saying? I mean, some of us make it look better than others, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, we know what we all are going through, and I'm happy that we all get a chance to connect like this, you know what I'm saying, to tell stories and just, you know, almost like, you know, not even justify, but make, like, you can say, like, yeah, I've been through that too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, group hug. You know what I'm saying? Just because of what we've all been through to this point, you know, to get to where we are today, and then we still look at, like, how far we got to go. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's
like,
a long, hard road. And I think at the beginning of the conversation, I think you were framing it really, you know, incredibly. I mean, that, you know, for all of the work that all of us are doing, you know, the reality is that the fight's not over, that there are, you know, large corporations and big dollars that are coming into this, and they're going to change the industry that all of us, you know, care so much about. And you know, companies like yourself and you know, the clinic, I mean, we have to keep pushing, right? I mean, providing you know, what patients and customers are looking for, but at the end of the day, staying true to who we are. So
staying true, and I feel like staying true to who we are is staying true to our patients. You know what I'm saying? As long as we stay true to them, we're going to be all right, man. Like, they're going to keep coming. You know what I mean? They're going to refer. And, you know, I always say all the time, like, you know, and this is why I feel like the whole soccer mom thing is just, it is what it is, the 80-20, I get it. But I just feel like, you know, if I wanted to try Molly, right? If me and you both, the first time we trying Molly, you bring me to Molly, I'm not trying that Molly. I'm gonna try his Molly, because he been taking Molly for years. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know, the OGs, let's just say, we always got a place. So we stay true to them. They're gonna keep saying, yeah, try the Viola, go to Viola. That's the thing. Go to the clinic. That's the experience you want. They're gonna be true. They're gonna give you the right medicine. They know what they're talking about. They're not gonna send you to the trendy spot, you know, because they don't go there.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look
No,
at that.
I mean, all the time I say I appreciate all these individuals saying that they're pioneers, but at the end of the day, they're fucking settlers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, for sure. That's a good
all right. You know, we've been pushing really hard for a long time, and you know, creating, you know, what the industry is today.
Right, and I mean it's funny too because, you know, I look at it because I remember, man, how I used to view like my teammates that smoked. I used to really look down on them. And like to where I am now, so I promise, like it gives me that extra push because I want to be down so bad. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm with y'all. I didn't know. I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Now that I know. I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? So
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, dude, when all these guys are coming out and going, dude, I had no fucking idea.
Yeah. Like most of them, they all laugh at me. Like they be talking like, you know, we have chat rooms, even like the big three, some of the guys, and they be laughing like, of all people, you're the weed guy. Like, you the weed guy, bro.
Like, I was the fucking weed guy. Who the fuck were you, dude?
Right. And like all that shit you used to talk, and you're the weed guy. I'm like, I'm the weed guy, bro. But I'm like, I'm out here though. I jumped out here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it is good.
So
man.
what's next for you guys, man?
I think, you know, just, you know, my viewpoint of just the industry, you know, a lot of people are now started looking internationally and all this type of stuff. I believe because American culture is so strong throughout the world, I feel like everybody watches American culture. I feel like Viola, to be the national, international brand that I think we can become, we have to win the United States. You know what I'm saying? So we're really focused on winning the United States. And what that means is we're trying to get Violas in many states as possible. Obviously, we always pay attention to quality and different things like that. But, you know, I feel like that if we can do that and continue to keep that same quality level, I think, you know, it'll allow us to be that brand that we want to be. And, you know, when I talk about lifestyle, you know, lifestyle culture. So culture, to me, what culture means is really like who you are. You know what I'm saying? So like we all have culture, you know what I'm saying? But the culture is who you are. You know what I'm saying? And my culture is that, you know, I'm a black man, you know what I'm saying? And I'm urban and I'm hip hop, you know what I'm saying? So with my brand, I feel like, you know, that is kind of the lane that we're kind of taking the brand into, you know what I'm saying? Where it's almost like, you know, it's always medicine, right? Let's not get it twisted. And, you know, the reason why it will always be medicine for us is because of the quality that we produce. You know, we produce medicinal quality cannabis. But when I talk about breaking those barriers in regards to humanizing the industry, it's through the lifestyle thing. And, you know, when I tell people all the time, like people think that when you smoke weed, all you do is sit on the couch and you don't move. You can't do nothing. You're non-productive. And I'm like, no. My culture and my reality is that I smoke weed and I snowboard. I smoke weed, I play basketball. I smoke weed, I go to the club. I smoke weed, I go to the strip club. I go wherever I want to go. You understand what I'm saying? And it's part of my culture, and it's almost like it's replacing liquor for me. I don't even drink anymore, really. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You guys offer me a drink. I don't drink, I smoke. You know what I'm saying? And I smoke and I still have a good time. You know what I mean? So that's what Viola is kind of focusing on as a brand, is like humanizing the industry, breaking down the stigmas. You know, we're actually working on our own podcast. It's going to be called All the Smoke or whatever. And, you know, I'm going to have two of my good friends, Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. They're going to host the show. I'll be on there every once in a while, but they're going to smoke cannabis on the show. You know, we're going to invite all our rapper friends to come on and talk, because I think that, you know, most people, once again, they don't understand that, you know, even rappers, they smoke to be creative. They didn't know that. When a sober rapper can't write a rhyme.
Yeah.
And it's cool for people to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then you have people that, you know, need cannabis because they suffer from anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Now we know about mental illness and different things like that. So with this podcast, we want to kind of create that platform for people to kind of tell their truths about cannabis. Like why they do what they do. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, the reason why Viola want to be a part of that is because, once again, I feel like that's part of humanizing and you know, changing the stigma of the plant.
You guys are killing it, man. I mean, we're in a lot of the states that you guys are at, and yet at the end of the day, man, it's awesome to have you in that company. I mean, I think Viola has been an amazing name here in Colorado, and it's been really amazing to have you on our shelf. In fact, actually, just recently, man, and for all of our medical patients out there, Viola Medical is now a thing at the clinic. So.
Nice, finally, guys. What took y'all so long? Man? Wow.
But it is a first, and it's an amazing brand to have along with ours. So we're really excited to have you guys there.
No, we're really excited about it too. I mean, we feel like our brands align. You know what I mean? I just walked into that shop, like I said. I mean, to me, that's $1 million shop. You know what I mean? And I walked in, I'm in California, and, MedMen is the big thing, and that shop is just as nice as a MedMen shop. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
I just want to tell you guys have done a great job, and we really appreciate you guys supporting our brand because, no matter what we do inside and how good it is, if you guys aren't willing to put it on your shelves and allow patients to, experience it, we're nothing. So we just want to I just want to, tell you, I thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. And, let's just partner up in all these states you guys are in.
Yeah.
Let's make sure we get Viola on all of them. And,
that's how it is. It's a symbiotic relationship.
Yeah, let's
we all
just
work
ride
together.
it out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let's
What
do
about,
it.
What about you guys in Oregon? What's going on there?
Man, things are going well. We're just about to the lab organ is just about to launch just this next month. So very exciting stuff. So along with Viola Oregon, we'll see you guys out there.
Yeah, Viola Oregon just walked in. This guy's named Adam Day. He just said hello.
Welcome. That was actually going to be one of my first questions. Is that this guy that drove you over here? A lot of people are questioning. Do you know his name?
It's Elias.
Oh my God! Holy shit!
It muted him out.
Why would y'all mute me out?
We didn't do that on purpose.
Yeah, right.
Elias.
Wait till I hear in the next couple days what these guys do.
We're gonna put so many different names in there. Good stuff, dude.
That's hilarious.
That was just the most asked question on our Instagram, so I just wanted to make sure we threw it out there. Elias,
You bleeped it out, so we couldn't even prove it.
Elias, which you gotta come over by this mic,
yeah.
but give us a little bit of what's going on with you.
It's just been in the industry for a long time, and it's just good to be a part of Viola. I'm actually when I first got started was the clinic. That was my first entrance into the marijuana industry besides the trap life, and it's been great, man, with all the people that I've met and all the couple jobs that I've had from here to Weed Maps to Viola. It's just been an incredible road, and I'm excited to be a part of this. Just this movement and everything that Viola has for the future, and thank you for this opportunity to put us on your shelves and everything, man. It's just been great. So from one brother to another, I love you.
Love you as well, man. Good to have you here, dude. Good to
That was a sweet moment. It was real. It was
Should
real.
we leave?
Yeah.
good to bring it.
Bromance thing.
Exactly. The lights are already going. Yeah.
Hold on. Can you bring those candles in here?
I was thinking, that's what everybody is setting is purple in here. Very soft purple.
Yeah.
The studio was redone today for Viola.
Yeah, we had to have that that Viola color, Just let you bathe in it, right. So, but we really appreciate y'all and like the product, the quality, the story, the continued commitment, and that's why we're proud to carry it on our shelves and work with you all, and we're very thankful to have people to work with like you and have people who are dedicated to putting out quality product and dedicated to what's happening in the culture all the way through from start to finish, not just jumping in certain areas where, people kind of see a green rush, and the story behind it is amazing. And, we really appreciate that, and we appreciate you taking so much time, out of your busy schedule. I know reading articles and stuff you're talking about, you're like, man, it's traveling around nowadays is more than an NBA schedule, which I don't know how that's possible.
It is, man. I'm never home.
Yeah.
Second most asked question on Instagram, how tall is Viola?
There is no ceiling.
Yeah, there it is. I like that answer.
Your grandmother.
Oh, the Viola.
Yeah. How tall is she?
Viola's like 5'1".
Viola's 5'1".
Yeah, she's about 5'1".
Okay.
Yeah, she's only about 5'1".
What side of the family?
I'm a freak baby. What happened was, and
just so everyone's clear, he's 5'6", what, 135 pounds?
who? I say my 3-year-old.
What are you, 7 foot?
I'm 6'9", but
6'9"?
I'm telling you how I got so big, man. Like I grew up eating a shitload of McDonald's, and this was when McDonald's was like real meat. You know what I'm saying? Like real 100% beef, like the real stuff. That's all I was eating, and I think that whatever steroids they was putting in there, it gave me my height, because I'm definitely the tallest person in my family.
I was just going to say, are you sure that was 100% beef?
Whatever it is, it worked. But it's funny, I was just looking at my sons the other day. So I have 2 little boys, and they're vegan, or whatever. So I'm raising them vegan. And then I was just looking at them. I'm like, I hope I'm not shortchanging these kids. Both of them gonna end up being 5'5" because they're not eating no McDonald's.
Yeah. Right. They'll split the difference. I don't know, maybe 6 feet, something like that. So
that's not tall enough. They got to make it to the NBA.
Yeah,
they want a new Ferrari.
Would you encourage your kids to go that route?
To what, playing NBA?
Yeah,
they have no choice.
Yeah.
If they don't play in the NBA, they will be disowned. They can be your kids.
My kids might be lucky to play in the Major League Soccer.
See, you say your standards too low. Put them in the NBA.
Nah, my kids will never be that tall, dude. No, it's not humanly possible.
I know genetics, right?
We've been breeding for a while, and what I've learned about breeding is there's no possible way my kids would play in the NBA. All right.
Well, I guess soccer it is. Then. Okay.
Do you see with what you've been working on with the NBA and talking about the players and 9%? There's that interview with you, David Stern, and do you see other leagues and associations? People working in those other kind of Major League Baseball, like other sports arenas. Do you see them kind of working in on that at all?
I mean, so baseball players obviously they get one. They don't get tested for cannabis, which is crazy. Which is crazy good. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's America's pastime, the most famous sport in the United States, and they don't even test for that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, why are they testing in the other sports? Like in the NFL, like, what's wrong with an NFL player smoking cannabis after a game after all he just put his body through? Like, come on, guys. It's not player enhancement. It's none of that. And even with the NBA, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's just like, if there's one issue that I say that we've had just in my career is like alcoholism. Like, there's a lot of guys that are real drinkers to the point where it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, that's okay though. It's okay that this guy gets drunk on his ass every night, but you're against him using cannabis for medicine. You know what I'm saying? Or to make him go to sleep. So I think that the sports will come around. I personally think that the NBA will probably be because they're the most progressive. I think that'll be the first league that will allow some form of cannabis, which I think will be CBD. And then sports teams will follow after that. And then obviously when federal legalization happens, I think they'll be kind of forced, but then they'll be able to now say that they have the proper testing and information that now justify the players using. I'm just like, the NBA has billions and billions of dollars. If you really care about the players, especially the NFL, let's start the NFL, because I think they need it more than any other sport. You
pay
have
for some
all
of that
money. Pay for the testing.
Yeah, that's what we need is
just
testing.
Pay for the testing.
Yeah.
Pay for the testing.
Yeah,
it's that simple. If you really care about these players, like you say you do, pay for the testing.
As simple as that.
It's that simple.
Yeah. I can't say I disagree with that at all. 100% agree.
Man, I feel like we shouldn't hold you here all night.
Let me go, man. I'm starving.
Wait,
yeah, dude,
I came all the way to the show, and all they gave me was fruit and water.
Shit.
That's all they gave me. It's unbelievable. Somebody come and get me.
Just so we're clear, it's in his rider.
No.
It's like a lot of fruit and a lot of water.
Fruit and water.
Fruit and water. There's no potato chips, no candy, nothing.
No.
Come save
Whatever,
me.
keto man.
We're worried about you. We're trying to help, dude.
No, I appreciate it.
No, we're gonna keep you here for like 4 hours, like it's the Joe Rogan podcast.
Matthew, you think we should do our favorite segment?
I think we should. This is what we usually end the show with, and it's a segment we call "What You Tokin About."
Okay.
And it's where we talk about kind of the flavor of the day, the week, the month for us. You know, just personally, you know, something that we're enjoying. And so, you know, I think maybe it might be all right for us to go around and talk about what we're talking about. So,
Al, if, just before you answer, if yours is something from the clinic, that would be fine. That would be fine. I mean, I don't know. I just want to throw ideas out there before you answer.
The clinic sells Viola
and before I say that, I should probably, you know, show you this hoodie that I've brought for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
which might be too
Now,
small.
So I'm about to say, is this for the 5'6", 165?
No, yeah, you know, I
5'6",
misunderstood
but I'm
how
185.
big you were. But you know, maybe grandma would love that. You know,
yeah, she wear it as a gown. You know, grandma love gown. So I'm toking on this Alley Cat Kush from the lab.
Oh,
It's good stuff. You want to know how that strain got its name?
How to get his name?
So, I'm going to be completely honest with everyone here. So, one of our cultivations back in the day, we had a Kush that we were breeding came in. There was a genetic that, you know, we wanted to keep, and we had a couple of crosses, but our location was located, there's an alleyway between it, and the other building, and down by the river, there were all these alley cats, like little alley cats that came around, man. And like people would put out like boxes of food for them, litter boxes, stuff like that. Like literally, like the park patrol rangers were coming down, putting up signs like "Do not leave food for these cats." You know, just tons of feral cats. They were really cute too.
Right.
And so, you know, we were looking for a cross, and we had, you know, some Colorado Kush, and we had some other things going. And then we had this strain, and it was like Alley Cat Kush.
Right.
So it's based here local, and it's a shout out to our alley cats down here. You know,
Killer. And on the flower side, I'm smoking Calabasas Kush.
Yeah.
From Viola. It's pretty nice.
Calabasas Kush.
Very nice.
Calabasas. I live in Calabasas too, actually.
I think
You
I
and the
actually
Kardashians.
I think I saw Diddy shouting that out on your Instagram.
You heard him, right?
Yeah, I heard him.
Banana Kush. We got some heat out there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got some good.
You definitely
You know Aaron Justice
That name sounds familiar.
from Buzz and Roses.
Yeah.
All right, he lives in Calabasas.
Does he too?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the hood out there too, man. You gotta be careful out in Calabasas. Seriously.
Well, I gotta
Alley cats,
now that I
alley
said
cats.
it. Now that I said it, yeah, there's not a lot of feral cats out there.
Not a lot of feral cats
Just so
in
people are
Calabasas.
understanding,
like
if you go out to
coyotes,
Calabasas,
mountain
don't
lions.
be expecting. Maybe
find a
there's like
mountain
a
lion in
cafe
Calabasas.
where you can hang out with cats. There's probably one of those.
Yeah, right.
You know, a
Mountain
yoga
lions
studio
doing-
with cats walking around on you or some
Yeah.
shit.
in Calabasas.
That's probably happening in Calabasas.
Exactly. That's about it.
But Buds and Roses out there also fucking awesome store.
Yeah, they're definitely
Aaron
a great
Justice,
store.
awesome guy.
Yeah, he's done a great job.
Yeah. All right. Well, who's next?
I went by the Colorado store last night, and there was some that I smoked actually right before the podcast. And is it the Chem 4, the Chem Dog, the Viola?
It was
Chem D Crush?
The Chem D
I-95. There's Chem Crush as well. Chem D Crush was
The Chem D Crush, yeah.
The Crush one is empty, guys. There's people at home. It's empty.
That's because we smoked this all.
There's a reason why it's empty.
Yeah,
Before you got here,
it's,
sorry.
it's absolutely delicious. Like just when I saw it last night, when they opened it up and I took a look at it, it was so clear. It was real diamonds in that like sauce with just like a little bit of amber in that sauce with those terpenes, and it's a great smoke.
So we're doing a little giveaway too over at Calabasas. At Viola as well. So sometime those diamonds, we put a couple real diamonds in there.
What?
Like real diamonds you put in your ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just don't smoke them all.
Don't smoke
Yeah,
them
just-
Yeah.
No, I'm joking.
I'm like, that's a good one.
I don't know what you just caused there.
I'm like, you're putting real diamonds in. I'm like, well, at one point,
You got glashed.
yeah, we almost got this guy to smoke glass. This
Hey, I'll be honest. That concentrate, the glass and trait, I've seen it in some jars, and it definitely looks like the butter one specifically is the one that got me. The live resin butter one.
Yeah.
That actually,
big
seriously
slabs of
got
that.
me. They brought it into my office
Scruggs
one
got me
day
with it.
in a jar and told me they thought something was wrong with it and I should probably dab it and taste it. It took me a couple of seconds before I understood what was happening there, but I
almost bit.
I got
He
glashed.
almost bit.
I got glashed. That's what happens, people. Sometimes that glashing trait looks so real you can't tell.
It really does.
All right, Ryan, what are you talking about?
Well, you know what? I'm gonna talk about something, but also do a little bit promotion. I'm going to talk about the lab terpene experience,
Nice. You got one of those.
and I want to give this to Al.
Oh,
So Al, open this up. What this is, the terpene experience from the lab is actually something that, as all of us talk about terpenes on a pretty regular basis, one thing that we're not having an opportunity to do is try them on this level. So what we call HTE, which is high terpene extract.
this is nice.
Who made that case? Who made that case, by the way?
This is really
Man, shout out to Jen.
Yeah.
Love Jid. He also makes a lot of Viola displays.
So what Al's looking at here is a custom-made clear box that has an entire pack of lab products in it. And what those are is that there are 3 HTE products in there, which again high terpene extracts are live resin extracts that are roughly about probably 20 to 30% terpenes, a little bit lower on the potency, no question. But what's in there as well is 2 containers, one that is CBD isolate and the other one which is THCA isolate.
Okay.
So what this is an opportunity for individuals to sort of choose their own experience here, right? That they have the ability to taste the terpenes, but also be able to use a little bit of THCA or a little bit of CBD as sort of the the gasoline behind that steering wheel.
Got it.
And so this is an opportunity for individuals to sort of understand terpenes a little bit more. And so there's one layer that has five jars on top of it. The second layer actually has a dabber, has some alcohol swipes, has some Q-tips in there, and has a mixing jar. So a little silicone mixing jar. So if someone wants to take a little bit of the THCA, a little bit of the HTE, mix that in there and end up having a little bit of their own experience. So this is what I've been toking on for a little bit.
Nice.
Love for you to be toking on it as well, man.
Thank you. That's amazing.
Absolutely, my friend.
I'm going to use this thing for a lot of stuff. Really nice.
So it's an awesome product. I mean, we've got some kosher in there, some Panama in there. And a little sour diesel. So you have an indica, a sativa, and a hybrid, and then some THCA, like I said, and then the CBD isolate from the lab CBD.
Thank you so much,
awesome.
man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I've been getting gifts all day since I've been at the clinic. Got like 2 bags over there earlier. This is nice. You guys have me on the show anytime if y'all can give me this stuff.
Hey, you're welcome anytime.
So, Elias, what are you talking about?
I'll be honest, man. My favorite strain right now that we do at Viola is the GMO. It's the one that I can't seem to keep in any kind of stock or on anybody's shelves, even after I sell it to them. So that by far is, I feel like, our highest marketed, probably wanted strain that we have out there here in Colorado. On the flower end, when I decide to smoke flower, it's rare. But there's one strain that always brings me back to my original kind of roots, and I'm sure you guys can guess that. It's just the Bubba Kush, So I definitely like to get the heavy Bubba Kush before I go to bed. Yeah, that's it, man. Mostly I stay on the concentrates. The reason why I picked Viola is because they have some of the best concentrates out there, and it definitely helps to to be able to get those employee pricing.
You're being selfish here, dude. That's all right to be honest.
But but nobody, as far as like dispensary wise, when I go in and want to buy my own product or anybody else's, that's on their shelves, treats me better, gives me a better deal than the clinic. So,
love you very much, man.
Yeah.
Love you very much.
Well, we appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy days and hanging out with us, being on the show, Elevated Culture. Make sure to check out Viola Extracts online at violabrands.com. Check them out on Instagram, Facebook. I don't know those, but we will link all of them.
Our
you guys want to shout
Instagram
them
is
out
actually at Viola_Colorado, at Viola.lifestyle, at Al Harrington. Those are definitely are the ones that see the most feeds. I mean, obviously we're in whatever state we're in, it's at Viola, whatever state as well.
Yeah, and do yourselves a favor and check them out. We'd love for you to come by the clinic and check them out, but if you're anywhere else and you see them, do yourself a favor and check them out there, because it's all about getting that out there. So, again, Al, thank you so much for being here. Elias, really appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate Viola. And Ryan?
Yeah, love you guys very much, man. Thanks a lot
Cheers.
for being a part of tonight. Cheers for sure. Clinic Cook on Instagram. Love you guys. We'll see you soon.
Peace.
Keep your culture elevated.